What's up, guys? All right, so I got this really interesting question on Reddit today, and I thought I'd just share it with you and share my thoughts. Basically, what happened is this guy has not been on Google Ads since 2020, so 6 years ago. Comes back onto Reddit and comes back onto Google Ads and immediately starts losing money. And basically, I'm going to read this out to you because I think it's super interesting. And then we're just going to have a little bit of a discussion. So he says, I used to spend around $2,000 to $3,000 per month on Google Ads for my consulting business, and the ROAS was insane. Same niche, same core services, same types of keywords and locations that I'm targeting today. Eventually, he got comfortable. He basically stopped reinvesting in ads because he had enough business. He didn't hurt immediately. He had two years of runway, and then eventually he sort of ran out of business and he started running ads again. So eventually he switches Google Ads back on and nothing. Absolutely nothing. He spent the same exact amount of money and he acquired less than 3 new clients. Now, he says he knows the demand for the service is still there, and he knows he's still using the same keywords, but he's just been wasting money and not really getting any clients. I'm not going to bore you by reading the whole thing, but that's basically the core of the issue, right? So let's talk about this. Let's talk about what's changed on Google Ads since 2020, because a lot of things are completely different. So what I did was I replied to him and I made this list. And what we're going to do is in this video, I'm just going to go over everything that I said in this list. I'm going to explain everything in detail. So the first thing that you or he needs to realize if you're an advertiser and you're just coming back into Google Ads now is that it's not going to be the same, because the void that you left is now occupied by your competitors. Makes sense, right? If you're not advertising in that slot, another guy is going to come and advertise in that slot. And so already you're not going to automatically assume back the same position in the market that you had before. You have to go back and fight for that market share on Google. The second thing I'm going to say is Google Ads is a lot more popular than 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I could run an ad for anyone and we could just make money out the gate. But because so many more people are on the platform now, it does create problems. So for example, back in the days when you ran a plumbing ad, you would compete maybe against 20 different companies, most of them not knowing how to use Google Ads. Right now, there's about 200 plumbing companies and all of them are really good at Google Ads, or they've hired agencies that are very good at Google Ads. So you're not going to get the same results, the same outcomes. You're not going to just walk in and everything's going to be the same, because everybody's so much better at the game right now. I wanted to actually type here, it's a skill issue, but I think that would be a little bit rude of me, but it's literally a skill issue. The third thing that you need to understand is that your CPCs, your cost per clicks for Google Ads have raised, and they've raised by about 6% year on year. So every year, even if you do nothing and your competitors do nothing, Google Ads is still going to increase the price of your ads by 6% every single year. In fact, I found an article over here where went to the wrong one. I found an article over here in Search Engine Land, and this is from March of this year, where they basically say that nearly 87% of industries have seen year over year CPC increases. What this basically means is it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what type of business you have, 80% of the entire ads industry is seeing increase in prices. And we know that this is coming from Google and not coming from your competitors. A lot of people have tried to blame their competitors and say, oh, my competitors are spending a lot more. There's been some industries where nobody's changed their budgets. Everybody knows each other because they're all like maybe the 5 stores in that location and they're all battling over the same market share. Nobody's increased their budget, and yet CPCs have increased. This is how we know that Google is behind the CPC increases and not just the competition. Yeah, so depressing so far, I know, but hey, if you haven't been on Google Ads for a while, this is information that you do need to know, especially if you're a business owner and you've come back after a long while away. There's so much that's changed. A couple of more things that I've talked about is there's a lot less transparency on the platform. What that means is Google is very quick to hide your information behind the AI overview, to hide things within menus, to hide away buttons and hide away features that they would have normally just shown you. So this is, I think it's par for the course when it comes to this ad platform, but it's just getting worse and worse lately. Another thing is these new helpful features that they do. I'll give you an example. Let me give you a concrete example of it. Google Ads has released this thing called an AI Max. Okay. And so what this is supposed to do is it's supposed to supercharge your search campaigns. And when you go into your settings, you switch it on, and then all of a sudden the AI will do all of the hard work, and it'll find all of the keywords. It'll basically do the work for you, write your ads for you. And all you do is you click publish and it'll do the rest. What this is really doing is giving Google full control. And what a lot of advertisers are finding, it's like this guy. This guy literally ran this AI Max. He ran it for about 2 months before he realized the significant amount of budget was going towards completely unrelated search terms. And this is what I mean when I say helpful features. They keep on packaging these things like helpful features when they're not. They're just not. All they're doing is finding new ways to hide wasted ad spend. So you have to be very careful when you look at your Performance Max and your AI Max. You have to just not just throw budget at them and hope that they'll work. All Google is doing is taking that same budget, putting into search terms that will never work for your business, and calling it a day. Because either way, advertisers need to realize this. Either way, Google gets paid. Whether your ad campaign makes your business money or loses your business money, Google is still going to get paid. So just be aware of that fact. Another thing that I mentioned is the death of Exact Match. Now, 6 years ago, Exact Match was like the cure-all thing for your keywords. If you had an ad account that wasn't really producing good results and you switched on Exact Match, it would basically get rid of all of the irrelevant search terms and you would only show up for the keywords that you wanted. Google figured that out. And so what they do now is whenever you switch on Exact Match, your ads account just dies. It just flatlines. There is no clicks, almost no impressions. You feel like you did something wrong. And that's just because Google wants to starve you and force you to come over to Broad Match, where they can basically have access to show your ads to multiple search terms. Can be a bad thing, but it can also be a good thing. But what that means is you don't control your ads anymore. So if you're thinking about using Exact Match now in 2026, forget it. It doesn't really work the same way that it used to. What else? All right. So the imminent death of manual CPC. I've talked about manual CPC a lot on this channel. We absolutely love manual CPC. It's a bidding strategy in Google Ads that basically allows you to decide how much you're going to pay per click. The imminent death of manual CPC, what I mean by that is I know that manual CPC is being removed more and more and more, and eventually it's an option that will just disappear. So if you are using manual CPC right now, use it, abuse it, do as much as you can with it, because it is not going to stick around forever. And last but not least, and these two are really big hitters, 55% of your search terms are invisible right now. So I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about over here. So if I go into this ads account, let me go into, this is one of our lawyer clients. And what I want to do is I want to look at all ad spend across the board. And as you can see, for the past 12 months, we spent $12,000 on Google Ads. But if I go to the search terms report, and I go into that $12,000, you can see here, it says $12,700 has been spent. You'll notice something pretty weird. If we go to our search terms, you'll see that it's showing us this data on top here, where we've spent the $5,400, okay? So that's good. because I can see now if I'm showing up for the right or the wrong search terms. Absolutely perfect. Now, when we look at the other search terms, there's $4,157. Where that money went, I don't know. What searches I showed up for, I don't know. What keywords triggered those searches, I don't know. And this is just the reality. Nobody talks about this. Nobody talks about how much of a problem it is. So in other words, you could spend $1 million on ads in a year and you will only be able to track where 50% of that money went. The other half, good luck. That is ridiculous, but that is what advertisers are facing right now in 2026. So if you're coming back, prepare yourself for this reality. And last but not least, call-only campaigns are gone. So if you want those campaigns where people just call you, they don't have an option to click through to your website, which are actually great for when you don't have a website and you just want calls. Maybe you're a repair person and you don't have time to make a website or a good website. Yeah, they're completely gone. What Google does, and this is Google's favorite trick, is they create what I like to call black box campaigns. Okay. So what a black box campaign is they take all of the campaigns that waste money and they take all the campaigns that make money and they squish them up into one campaign. They will call it a performance max. Previously, it was a smart ad. Before that, it had some other fancy name. But what they do is they build these campaigns in such a way that you get very little visibility, very little clarity on where your ads are showing. And that allows them to both waste your ads and still show ads, waste your ad budget, but still show your ads at the same time. So be very careful of that. Now, if you're watching this video and you're asking yourself, okay, this sounds like a lot. I want to start advertising. I want to start making money, but I'm a business owner and I don't have time to figure out all of this. I'm going to give you the same answer that I gave this guy. I said, basically, I suggest you find somebody who has been fighting these battles for the last few years to look at your ads account and to give you the new lay of the land. And it's way better than spending $3,000 per month bumping your head trying to figure out stuff that you haven't learned because you haven't been around for the past 6 years. So if that's you, I want to give you a couple of steps forward. Number one, click on the links below. If you want to work with me, just book an audit. I'll basically go through your ads. I'll tell you what's broken. I'll tell you what needs fixing, and you can just work off of that data. You can hire whatever agency you want as long as you're working with the correct data. Or option number two, actually hire me for coaching. I've got a Google Ads course. You can sign up for it. It's linked down below. I think it's $97. So you can just go and learn the new knowledge that's working right now. Or if you want something more in depth, you can actually sign up to training, be part of our community, and I'll give you 10 hours of one-on-one time with me where you can literally ask me anything you want. You can book a call, show me your ads, and you can learn from somebody who's in the game, who's doing this right now, so that you don't have to go through all of this pain. The last thing that I want to say is this. A lot of these changes might make you feel like you're stupid. And I know when you go on Reddit and forums and you ask for advice, everybody talks about this stuff like it's obvious. But you have to understand something. These guys on Reddit, they've been spending millions of dollars on advertising. They had to do all of the same mistakes that you're doing. It just feels more real to you because it's happening to your business, but everybody goes through these headaches. So if they make you feel like you're stupid or you're dumb or you don't know anything, trust me, I'm a Google Ads expert for the past 9 years. Even I sometimes lose money. It's perfectly normal with advertising until you find out how everything works, until you figure out the algorithm, the mechanics, whatever you want to call it. And then you start prospering. So my only piece of advice for you is don't give up. Don't feel like it's a lost battle, that it doesn't work anymore. There's just new rules to this game. And it's important for you to understand those new rules. All right, that's my video for today. If you want to watch another video, I'm going to put it over here. Haven't quite decided what I'm going to put over here, but you can check it out here. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.